When we talk about the process of incarnation, we are referring to the moment when a spirit decides to manifest for the first time in a physical body, experiencing life on Earth. This moment, often mysterious, carries with it a complex story that goes beyond what our eyes can see. The spirit arrives with a karmic record, which is nothing more than the register of all the experiences acquired in past existences in other worlds. It's as if the spirit carries a spiritual passport filled with lessons, challenges, and learnings, shaping its destiny on the earthly journey. In practice, each soul brings with it a unique baggage, full of experiences that prepare it for the challenges it will face here. For example, in other existences, the spirit may have been involved in intense conflicts, cultivated hatred, or even achieved great feats. These experiences somehow connect with the karmic record that follows it. That's why, at birth, a person is not a blank slate, but a soul with a previous trajectory, ready to evolve and correct flaws or continue its evolution. Now, the big question is, what will this spirit do with the baggage it carries? This depends on a number of factors, including the reincarnatory planning, which we will explore later. But before we dive into that process, it's worth considering that incarnation on Earth is a starting point. Earth, with its challenges and lessons, serves as the training ground where the spirit can apply its past experiences and learn, perhaps for the first time, how to overcome the obstacles it itself created. If you're beginning to understand the deep impact of incarnation and want to continue exploring this fascinating path of spiritual evolution, don't forget to like this video. Your interaction helps spread this knowledge to more people. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and turn on notifications so you stay updated on everything about the spiritual world and our journey on Earth. And of course, share it with those who also need to know these transformative truths. Let's walk together on this path of learning and evolution. The Karmic Council is a group of highly specialized spirits responsible for planning and defining the main aspects of a being's life who will reincarnate on Earth. They not only choose the spiritual family that will be the foundation for an entire new journey, but also establish important details such as the social class, the context in which the spirit will be born, and even more subtle matters such as physical appearance and genetic traits. All of this is carefully planned so that the spirit has the necessary opportunities to face its challenges, learn from its past experiences, and continue its evolution. It's as if the Karmic Council were a team of spiritual advisors, far beyond any human influence. They have a broad vision of the soul's trajectory, recognizing past successes and mistakes, and determining a path that provides the ideal conditions for karmic rescue or fulfilling specific spiritual missions. When a spirit chooses to incarnate, it doesn't do so alone. It is being guided and assisted by these spirits who have the mission of ensuring it has all the necessary tools for evolution. This process is crucial to understanding reincarnatory planning, because without the assistance of the Karmic Council, the spirit would struggle to choose a life that meets its evolutionary needs. For example, if someone has accumulated karma of anger, the Council may determine that this person is born in a situation where they will learn to control and overcome this feeling. This helps us realize that life is not just a coincidence. It is a grand plan, a spiritual design full of intelligence and purpose. Genetic deficiencies are often seen as simple birth accidents, but from a spiritual perspective, they can have a much deeper meaning. Many genetic conditions are actually planned before incarnation to help the soul resolve karmas or fulfill specific missions. Imagine that, in a past life, a spirit acted selfishly, harming others, and now, in this life, it needs to face challenges that will allow it to develop qualities such as compassion and empathy. A genetic deficiency can be one of these learning opportunities where the spirit is challenged to grow and transform. These conditions are not placed arbitrarily. On the contrary, they are choices made with the support of the Karmic Council, with the intention of providing an opportunity for evolution. For example, a person born with a hearing impairment may face a series of obstacles, but they may also develop special sensitivity, perhaps becoming an excellent communicator in other ways. The spirit, when choosing this incarnation, already knows that this physical condition will be a means of learning, not a limitation. This aspect of life makes us reflect on how we approach our own difficulties. If, instead of seeing genetic deficiencies as punishments, we began to view them as opportunities for evolution, perhaps we could cope with them better. Each physical challenge can indeed be a fertile ground for spiritual development, where external struggles are merely reflections of the inner battles the spirit needs to overcome. Life on Earth is a constant learning field, where the spirit is challenged to grow and transform. Each experience lived is an opportunity for evolution, and throughout this journey, new connections and karmic bonds are formed. When the spirit interacts with other beings, whether through family relationships, love, or even professional relationships, it creates spiritual bonds that often transcend life, connecting to stories from other incarnations. These bonds are essential for the redemption of karmas and for fulfilling spiritual missions, as they help us evolve through interactions with one another. For example, we may feel that some people enter our lives to teach us something. This is not mere coincidence, but a deep spiritual process where the people around us play crucial roles in our growth. A conflict with a friend or family member could, in fact, be an opportunity to resolve past karma, allowing the soul to break free from old patterns and progress in its evolution. When we understand this, we can see each challenge as a chance to learn and overcome, rather than something negative or unfair. Moreover, the spiritual bonds we create with others are not limited to this life. It's possible that, in a past incarnation, we made promises or pacts with these souls, and now, in this life, we need to fulfill or redeem what was agreed upon. The beauty of this process is that when we understand the nature of these ties, we can approach challenges in a lighter, more understanding way, confident that everything has a greater purpose. The relentless search for pleasure is one of the most striking characteristics of human beings. From the moment we are born, we are influenced by biological impulses that motivate us to seek satisfaction and comfort. Through pleasure, we try to fill our emotional and physical needs, but often this search becomes uncontrolled, leading us into a constant competition with others. Society, with its norms and expectations, intensifies this competition, creating a cycle where pleasure and power become almost inseparable. Power, money, recognition. All these elements fuel the competition we see around us. The idea that success is achieved by those who have more, who are faster, or who are smarter spreads throughout human culture. However, this constant search can have a profound side effect: the alienation from spiritual purpose. When we focus too much on immediate pleasure and material achievement, we lose sight of what truly matters for our evolution, which is the development of the soul and the understanding of the karma we carry. But how do we balance competition and pleasure with the true spiritual purpose? The answer lies in understanding that behind all this external search, there is an internal journey. Genuine pleasure is not found in material accomplishments, but in inner growth. When the spirit connects with its higher purpose, it begins to realize that true satisfaction comes from learning to live in balance, without the need to constantly compete. And instead of seeking pleasure in an uncontrolled way, it starts seeking pleasure in learning, evolution, and the redemption of old karmas. Spiritual warfare is something that goes beyond what the eyes can see. We're not talking only about visible conflicts, but about invisible battles that happen in the spiritual planes and directly influence our lives on Earth. Spiritual conflicts are like storms that reverberate throughout the universe, affecting the charisma of everyone involved. These battles may arise from old karmic debts, accumulated energies over many lifetimes, or even the competition between spirits fighting for power, control, and evolution. The impact of such spiritual wars is not immediate, but reflects in the difficulties we encounter in our journey. On Earth, these spiritual wars often manifest as physical, emotional, and even psychological disputes. Human beings, in search of power and recognition, end up engaging in a competition that is often much deeper than they imagine. The karma of a spirit's past actions may lead it to find itself in situations where it needs to fight to overcome these spiritual challenges, and it is through this struggle that the soul is shaped and evolves. However, the true spiritual war is not against others, but against our own internal impulses that take us away from our purpose of evolution. The impact of these spiritual wars on the soul's evolution is profound. By facing internal and external conflicts, we are, in fact, confronting our own karmas, learning to overcome our fears, our selfish desires, and the shadows we carry. Each battle won, whether on the physical or spiritual plane, represents a step forward in the liberation of accumulated karma. And although spiritual wars can be painful and difficult, they are also a unique opportunity for growth, where the soul can finally rid itself of the weights of the past and reach a higher evolution. Now that you have a clearer view of spiritual wars and their impact on the evolution of the soul, it's important to remember that, ultimately, every conflict we face, whether in the material or spiritual world, has a greater purpose: our evolution. Internal battles are, in fact, opportunities to become more conscious, more balanced, and closer to our true self. So, the next time you face a challenge, remember that you are, in fact, facing a lesson that will take you further on your spiritual journey. If this content resonates with you and you want to continue deepening your knowledge of the spiritual universe and the journey of the soul, don't forget to like this video. It helps us share these messages with even more people. Subscribe to the channel now and turn on notifications so you don't miss the upcoming videos, where we will explore more about how you can transform your life and spiritual evolution. Also, share with anyone you know who needs this knowledge. Let's go together on this journey of learning and transformation.